Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. And it's Tuesday night, and every Tuesday night I jump on and do a sketch challenge with you. So I hope there'll be some people joining. Just looking to see, I've got my Facebook page. Okay, I can see that I'm live. That's great. That's always the first thing. And then I'll watch for people joining and commenting. Don't forget, if you do join me through Facebook, you need to give StreamYard, which is the application I use for streaming, permission. So go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give permission. And that way I can actually see the comments and who's commenting as they come in on StreamYard. And I'm not looking down on my phone to see who's commenting, because all I see if you don't give permission is Facebook user. And I'd really like to acknowledge anybody who's coming on and watching. Hey, Lynette, welcome. Great. I'm glad you're here. I missed you on Monday nights in my class. Okay, so tonight it's a bit of a different sketch. So I kind of like it. So you're going to be able to make 2 cards with the paper. You'll have to cut 2 card bases, but you'll be able to make 2 cards with the pieces the way I've got it cut. And I'm going to show off some designer series paper that's retiring. So this is the hand penned suite. So this designer series paper will be going away with the new catalog that comes out. Hello, Deborah. Wow, from Australia. Welcome. So when the new catalog comes out, gosh, lost my train of thought. When the new catalog comes out, and if on May 3rd, this designer series paper will not be in it. And of course, the in colors are going away. So the 2021 to 2020 to 22 in colors, which includes Magenta Madness, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, and Misty Moonlight. They're, oh my gosh, so amazing. I love them. And so I thought what I would do tonight is use some of the designer series paper and some of my Cinnamon Cider cardstock and make a card using this sketch. Hey, Alice, welcome. All right, let me switch over. Nancy, hello. So you can see this is a bit of a different sketch. I don't know, I kind of like it. So the way you cut this, so your card base is a standard card base, either 5.5 by 8.5 or 4.25 by 11. And I'm sorry, Deborah, I'm in Imperial. One of these days I'll be able to do both of them, both Imperial and metric off the top of my head, but I'm not there yet. So that's your standard card base. And then what you'll do is you're going to cut 2 pieces of, so this blue is designer series paper, or it could be another color of cardstock. So you either cut 2 pieces of cardstock that are 4 inches by 5.25, 2 different colors, or one of them could be designer series paper and one of them could be basic white or color. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Oh, you've used up all your Cinnamon Cider, Alice. Yeah, I still have some left. Okay, so I have got, isn't this pretty? This is one of my favorite ones with the Cinnamon Cider Garden Green. And then I think this is Pool Party. At least that's what I'm using with it. So I've got this cut at 4 by 5.25. And I've got a piece of basic white cut at 4 by 5.25. And then the other piece that you need, now I've cut this longer. I've said cut a piece that is 1/4 inch by 6 inches. I think that will be fine. Mine, I just cut a strip off of a piece of Cinnamon Cider. This is going to go as a little bit of a border. So you need it to be longer than 4 inches. I think 6 inches probably is long enough. But as I said, I just cut a strip off that was 1/4 inch off a piece of cardstock. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to score. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm reading your comments. Yeah, I used a lot of Cinnamon Cider for sure when I was using the hand penned. So this is my card base of Cinnamon Cider, and this is a booklet fold. So I'm scoring this at 4.25. Let me get my scoring blade. There we go. If you have a tent fold that is 4.25 by 11, you're going to score it at 5.5. So as always, this is the side I've scored on. So you are going to turn it over and fold into the mountain or the raised line to get a better crease, better fold. Take your bone folder and give it a good crease. All right, so that's my card base. We're just going to set that aside. Now, let's take these. So these two are the same size. Designer series paper, 4 by 5 1/4, and the basic white 4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to lay these two together. And to get this cut, this diagonal cut, I haven't put measurements on here. I'm going to eyeball this. And if you cut them both exactly the same, or sorry, layer them like this together, then it doesn't really matter what the measurements are because they're both going to be cut the same. So I'm just really putting this in here and I'm going to cut on a diagonal. So I'm just laid this in on a diagonal, and I'm just going to take and cut both pieces together. And that's why I say you'll end up have enough of these to make 2 cards. So there I've got, I've got a little bit of a different shape than I've got here, but that's okay. Actually, that's wrong. I'm going to put my designer series paper on the top, and then my basic white at the bottom. So it fits like that. And then this piece is going to go and just hide that seam. So I'm going to just adhere this over top when I'm finished. And then I'm going to do some stamping down here. Now, for my other card, we're going to have the opposite. So when I make the other card, you're going to have the opposite. I'm going to do my stamping on the top, my designer series paper on the bottom. So that's why it makes, if you do it this way, you end up with enough cardstock or enough paper to make 2 cards. All right, let's do some stamping. Out of the way. Out of the way. Okay, so I am going to use the hand penned. Oh gosh, that's a big glare. Let's take this off. I tried to take my cover off before because I've got a really bright light here. Let's see if that helps. There we go. That's a little bit better. So this is the hand penned petals. Of course, there are dies that go with this, but I'm not using them tonight. And I'm going to use this stamp here. It just fits a little better in my space than what this one will. And then it's going to be a thank you card. So I've got this stamp that is, I'm going to stamp in Memento. Hey Lee, welcome. Okay, so we're going to stamp this in Memento. So this is a great way. I know I talk a lot, and I want to make sure I've got my my piercing mat here, because when you're using the photopolymer stamps, you want to make sure that you've got a good cushion. And I don't have a lot of grid paper underneath me, so I am just going to snap like this. I know I talk a lot about making, I'll say quick and easy cards, but I also like to make a bunch of cards together. So if you were to cut a bunch of pieces of cardstock and designer series paper that are 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then just cut them like I did, you will be quite easily be able to make a bunch of cards all at once. So I've got Garden Green. I've got Pool Party. And I've got Cinnamon Cider. So if you have some of these stamp pads that are the in colors and you don't have your reinkers for them, you really want to get those orders in soon. I haven't looked. I should have looked today. I know that the other day when I looked, the Just Jade reinkers had already sold out. I'm just testing this. This is going to be really dark. So I'm going to stamp off just because I re-inked this ink pad, and I just don't want it quite as dark as what I think it's still. Oh, that's perfect. I like it not quite so dark. Now, if you don't like stamps that don't match up exactly, then this hand pen petals is probably going to drive you crazy. But because it's definitely more abstract, I'm going to stamp off on my Pool Party as well, just to make it There we go. And then I've got 2 of the leaves. So the leaves are 2 different sizes. Again, I'm going to stamp off just because I'm making this just a little bit lighter than what it would be full strength. So there are 2 different sizes of leaves on this stamp. And then the little leaf. And we will just stamp. There we go. Now I'm not going to bother coloring my stem, but I will. Let's stamp in cinnamon cider, I think. Oh, Alice, did you hear most are gone? Yeah, I should have looked tonight to see. They do go very quickly once the announcement. I mean, everybody knows. Well, for the most part, we all know that the end colors are retiring at the end of after 2 years. But so we shouldn't be surprised. All right, so I'm just going to take and stamp thanks, and I'm doing that in full strength cinnamon cider. All right, so now we can start putting these down. Both sides of this designer series paper are so pretty. Oh, it's been one of my favorites forever. Oh, yeah, pumpkin pie will come back. It's not retiring. I'm not sure who said that. Pumpkin pie will come back. Definitely not retiring on that one. Darlene, oops. Magenta Madness definitely is retiring. So let's put this on like that at the top. And then, now if you wanted to, I'm using a piece of cardstock that I have cut. And I probably should not have, oh, well, that's okay. I was going to say I shouldn't have probably adhered this down until I cut it. You could actually put a piece of ribbon across this seam if you wanted to. And I'm going to just put that there. Let's see. I'm going to just hold this down and snip it. Because I probably should have cut it off before, or I should have not adhered that down before I snipped it. So let's just put that on like that. So I'm just eyeballing. There we go. Cut across like that. Again, you could use ribbon and tie a nice bow. Or you can use a different color cardstock than your base. You don't want a lot of glue. We were doing a technique last night, the Starburst technique. Oh gosh, I had glue all over my fingers. And I never was a liquid glue. Oopsie. Got it going the wrong way. I was never a liquid glue person because I don't like the glue all over my, oh gosh, what have I done here? I put the glue on the wrong side. Ha! Can you imagine? You would never do that. Let me grab another piece of paper. Couldn't figure out why my angles weren't working. All right, let's cut another piece of paper. All right, we're just going to cut this again. I'm cutting this longer than I actually need, and I'm cutting it 1/4 of an inch wide just to kind of hide that seam. And we'll try this again so that I don't actually put the glue on the wrong side. All right, there we go. So let's snip this. Yes, my scissors I need to get some adhesive remover. I think I have some in my cupboard because these scissors, these paper snips are just so, okay, so that's the way I want it to go. So let's turn it over and get it going the right way. Let's see if I can do this. Second time lucky. All right, there we go. Phew. There we go. And we're just going to put that across like that, kind of to hide that seam. All right, now somewhere I have some of the Genial Gems. These are also retiring, so it's kind of sad. Let's see what I got. So they are in pale papaya and green mint macaron, but they go nicely with. Trying to find my take your pick tool. They go nicely with the cinnamon cider and the garden green. So we will just use some of these. We'll just kind of mix them up. I'll put 3 on because I tend to do it in 3s. And let's do 1 there. Okay. I tend to use the putty end for getting embellishments off. You can just kind of slide the embellishment off using the putty end of your take your pick tool. Okay, so now I have a piece of basic white. Again, this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Oh, and then I got glue. Ah! I don't like glue. All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this. I don't know what it's called. It's kind of like a sprig. So we're just going to stamp this sprig down in the corner in tuxedo black. And then there is this little stamp that's got all little round balls on the top. Again, I'm going to stamp off. And then we're just going to stamp. There we go. So that's just the inside of the card. And oops, this is my glue that is almost empty. Here we go. Not going to put a sentiment on. When I do thank you cards, I just try to leave them blank on the inside so I can write a note. There we go. All right. I like that. And I like the fact that I have my other pieces that you're all set to go. Now, if your paper isn't directional, mine's directional, and this feels like the flowers are upside down. If it isn't directional, then you can put it exactly the same way. But because mine's directional, I will make another card that goes like that. Perfect way to use up your designer series paper and make a bunch of cards all at once. There we go. All right. Oh, and let me just put in the sketch here. So I had a lady ask me to always bring the sketch in so she could see how the card turned out. Sometimes I do go a little bit rogue with my sketches. It's because it's really just a guideline to help you with your cards. All right, there we go. So all the sketch will go live if you follow me on if you've come in through Facebook, either my group or page, or Instagram. My sketch will go live at about 7:30 Pacific on all of 3 of those. If you're on YouTube, I'll try and put the picture up on the YouTube channel with the video, and hopefully you'll be able to see the measurements on there. Yes, Tracy, running alcohol. Yeah, I've got some alcohol too, but I think I've got Goo Gone in my drawer as well. So I need to spend some time cleaning up those scissors. Like I said, we did the starburst technique last night, and gosh, I got glue all over the place because I was cutting the extra pieces and trimming my card before my glue was dry. It makes quite a mess, but I will definitely get them cleaned up before my next video. All right, I will be live on Thursday night at 6:30 Pacific. It is a mystery challenge, so I will be posting the mystery at about probably 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, 9 o'clock Pacific. So you can find that on my Facebook group, Facebook page, or Instagram. So it's a challenge. I will share the challenge with you earlier in the day. Think about what you want to do, grab your supplies, and come make a card with me using that challenge. Last time I did it, it was a color challenge. We'll see what I have for you this time. So I just really love to create, and I'll talk about how I use challenges to be able to create and give you some tips for what you can use challenges for. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining me. Happy stamping. Bye.